Greetings, Alexey here, the developer for OpenApocalypse. In this video, I'd like to talk about modding and features. So basically, a question sometimes appears: why are we making OpenApocalypse? Why remake something which you can already play in DOSBox? And besides the typical answer that, of course, it's going to be easier to run this, for example, on Androids and iOS devices, and it's going to be more stable and just maybe easier to run for people. The second reason is modding, and I want to show you what's going to be possible in OpenApocalypse. This is what I have made in about 8 hours of my time. So the person with about 8 hours, spending about 8 hours, can make this kind of mod by implementing some code and some changes to the data files. This is a project I really wanted to do. It's really cool. So first of all, ground vehicles, there can now be all-terrain vehicles, like for example, this tank is an ATV now. So this tank can move using ground, not only roads, like this. So that's in, but that's not all. Let's get this tank up in high ground. Let's get you high, mate, like here. Okay, it can't get up for some reason. Let's nudge him in the right direction. Yes, mate, here and then here. Okay, why does it refuse? I don't know. That's besides the point. Okay, so yeah, he got up there. Anyways, so as you know, in vanilla, ground under the vehicle dies, the vehicle explodes, but instead we can make something like this. The ground is destroyed and the vehicle just falls. What? 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 How did this happen? Anyways, I'll fix this and be back. Okay, I'm back. Let's continue. So, too fast. The ground vehicle moves, the ground under the ground is destroyed, the vehicle falls down, and if the vehicle can survive the fall, it can basically land on the ground and just continue moving. Or if it fell somewhere it can't be, like for example the ground under it is not possible for the vehicle, it's crashed and you can retrieve it like you do with UFOs. So you can set the big enough vehicle to retrieve it. It will take it up and carry it home like this, and then you can repair it and it will be ready to be used again. Also, if a vehicle which is in the air is damaged enough, it will crash as well. So let me show it. For example, let's say he is flying this way, and let's say he gets damaged like this. He crashes, and once again you can retrieve him by sending a big enough vehicle to rescue. And if a vehicle crashes from high enough height, it can also blow stuff up. Like for example, let's move him here. Let's move him here and let's crash him en route. It looks like this. Okay, it didn't blow stuff up this time, so let's send another one. Come on, too fast. Okay, not getting any luck. Let's try that again. Maybe it's actually maybe this road is very durable, I don't know. let's try that again. Okay, not getting any luck whatsoever. I'll see, maybe there's some bug in the formula. Yeah, something like this can happen where it like destroys part of the building and lands there. Or I still want to show you how cool it looks when it's like blowing the road up. This. And so this is like going to be happening in like this is going to be happening when you fight. So the vehicle gets shot down, it like falls from the sky, there's some small explosions going on, and then it like crashes. Like for example here, if it crashes from this, like it will slide off and fall again and like fall again. It can die from the fall, of course. Like if it's like some hover bike, it's probably not gonna survive because it's a hover bike, it has very low HP. But if it's something bigger, then it can survive, and most likely it will. Let's blow up this hover bike. Yeah, the bike gets destroyed most of the time. Let's try with the dimension probe. And yes, as you can notice, the destruction of tiles in the city doesn't work yet, but of course it will eventually. For now it doesn't really. So like the road gets crashed, it falls down here. And like let's purchase a vehicle so we can recover this. Can we recover it there? Yeah, I guess not, because we can't really click that place. Let's clear this stuff up. Can we click it now? Okay, we still can't. It fell inside the building. Okay, that's gonna be fixed eventually. So yes, that's how it's that's the feature that like the vehicles can like crash and all sorts of stuff happen when they do. You can recover them. So this will make it so that if you have this feature is first it's cool, I think it looks cool, but second it's like if you are using basically in vanilla, it's very good tactic to use just small craft, because if they die they're easy to replenish, and if the big one dies you lose like a lot of cash replacing it. But with this feature, what's gonna happen is it will be like it will be more reasonable to use big craft, because big craft can survive the crash. Like let's crash them all together. So since big vehicles, they are more likely to survive the fall, like you can recover them, and you can, like with some chance you recover the vehicle itself, with a smaller chance you recover just the people on it and the items, and you can get some compensation like for the wreck of the vehicle that you like sold on the market. But it makes it more viable to use big vehicles, because after the battle is over you can pick up your remains like of your vehicles if these vehicles survive the crash, and big vehicles are more likely to survive the crash, and then you just like ferry them to base like this and repair them. Let's try it again. I think the chance to destroy stuff is like really too low now, because it barely crashes even through like these flimsy roads. I think it should probably be more prone to destroying like the roads, at least. Something like this. So yeah, that's a feature, and features like this, it will be possible to implement. As I said, this took me like 8 hours, so like any serious mod usually takes way more than that, like if you're into modding. So this is what OpenApocalypse is mainly like one of the reasons why it's made is because things like this could be implemented, and it's because like in vanilla you couldn't do that. Even if you mod the data files, there's no way you implement such logic. But in OpenApoc you can implement this logic easily and make mods like this, which are like, fun. Boom. And many other ideas. Like this is just one idea what can be done, but a lot of other things can be done, and it will be easy to do. You just write a mod. Like this vehicle like crashed inside there. Let's see if we can. We can't recover it unless. Basically, right now there is no way to select the vehicle unless you click on it, and obviously if it's inside the building you can't click on it. Yep, so it's recovered. So yeah, things like that, and maybe people come up with some other great ideas, maybe some other mods which are also like which even I can't think of, but which really improve the game, and they will be able to do that. And with vanilla they couldn't. So this is it for this update. This mod will be here in the menu. It's called Vehicles Crash on Low HP. Basically, any vehicle will crash on low HP if it's not a UFO, but since UFOs are UFOs, they don't use this algorithm, and in default games, in the vanilla game, no other vehicle other than UFO has a mark for crash health, so this just sets their crash health to something that is not 0. And this unsupported ground vehicles crash, this is for the ground vehicles, so when the underground vehicle is destroyed, the ground vehicle stays in place and can be recovered, or it falls down, and like if it's a tank it can continue moving. So if this one is destroyed, it will just be here and wait for it to be recovered. But if it's a ground tank, it just continues moving. Yep, so that's you can play with this feature when the update is released, and eventually more features will. Like, this is cool. I don't know. I like it very much. Like that you can do things like this with your stuff. Like with vehicles, I always like wondered why your vehicles just blow up in the air and do nothing. Like, now they do something like this, which is cool. Anyways, this will be available in the usual place, and I will resume working on the vanilla game. But this was just a small preview of what will be possible with OpenApocalypse. And many people, I think when we release it to a fully playable version, many people will want to code something, and this is like how easy it is to do something cool with the game. So, but for now, this update is over. This video, I mean. Thank you very much for watching as usual, and see you next time. Goodbye.